So it was reported by Variety late last night, which was no accident, by the way. This story broke at around midnight Eastern Standard Time, and the East Coast is where most of the press is located. Disney, so savvy. But Variety reported that Alan Horn, the head of all of Disney Film, has made his final decision not to reverse his initial one to sever all ties with James Gunn. He was facing considerable pressure from both sides, but I think he made the ultimate decision that we all knew was the only one he really could make. There was a Hail Mary pass, though, also reported by Variety, a courtesy meeting on Tuesday set up by Gunn's agents for Horn and Gunn to sit down and see if they couldn't hash this thing out. And Horn, while reportedly polite, still stood firm. Variety also reports that Kevin Feige, who was brilliantly out of town and could not attend said meeting, but it is reported that he will back Horn's final decision. Really, Feige is a tactical genius, and he will now set those impressive talents on protecting Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the next chapter of our discussion. But I want to point out, because I know this decision hit a lot of you hard. So I think another chapter that's definitely approaching is the next one for James Gunn, because he has and still has a legion of support from the industry, the media, many of you, and I am sure that he will land on his feet at another non-family centric studio, and we will soon be discussing his next gig. Also, he's getting $7 to $10 million to walk away, as he did not technically break his contract with Disney, as his online activity took place prior to his employment at the studio. So what's next for Guardians of the Galaxy 3? That's where I think everyone should focus their attention. What's next for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and eventually what's next for James Gunn? Now, when it comes to the third entry of that franchise, I think the biggest question mark right now is Dave Batista. Will he quit? He said that if Disney keeps Gunn's script, he'll stay. He also mentioned that he had contractual obligations, but then he tweeted that he would ask to be maybe let out of them. And he did say that working with Disney under these circumstances is, quote unquote, his word, nauseating. However, as awkward as that comment might make things between Batista and the mouse, I really think he should stay, as do the majority of you. He'll get blowback from both sides for doing so, but in the long run, I think it'll be better for his career to keep the MCU connection. And it'll be better for the MCU, because to lose Batista would create a visual, constant reminder on screen about the scandal. I do believe his Drax would be missed. I didn't like him in the first movie, but he's been growing on me. I liked him in the second, and I thought he was very funny in Infinity War. He had one of the most famous lines, "Why is Gamora?" right? Now, as for the script, speaking of writing, some of you have said that if Disney finds James Gunn so repugnant, they shouldn't use his script. I disagree, and here's why. First off, they'd like to keep the movie on schedule as much as possible. They want to have as little disruption as possible, and they're aiming for a 2020 release date. That gives them a pretty big window to still say they hit their mark, right? And this script is ready to go. Also, Disney's paid for it. They gave him that $7 to $10 million. They're going to give him that $7 to $10 million severance package. So why not take the script? And then most importantly, I think this should be seen as a positive thing, an olive branch, not just to Dave Batista, who said he would stay if the script, that's one of the things that he said, that he would consider staying if the script was kept. But I think it would also be an olive branch to everyone who's been supportive of Gunn, that he's not been totally wiped from the project. I think that keeping his script would help a lot of people, including the other cast members, make peace with a new director. Now, who should that be? The fan favorite, of course, is Taika Waititi, but it's a tough gig because, again, with very strong and vocal support from within the industry, the media, and fans, whoever takes it is risking some heat. So he might say no. I can see Taika Waititi, standing on principle on that one, which would be too bad because, as we've been saying, he could have Thor join the Guardians Infinity War style, and the whole thing really would be perfect. It would really solve two problems: who to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and what to do with Thor post his trilogy. They're even releasing it as Guardians of the Galaxy comic, right, at Marvel. So I think everything there would work perfectly. But if Taika Waititi says no, I think there are some very other good options. So remember, we want someone with a quirky comedic sensibility, highly stylized if possible. My top pick would be sorry to bother you director Boots Riley. And he can take any heat that comes his way because he recently had the guts to call out foreign distributors for not being willing to pick up his stateside indie sensation. That's very unfortunate, and I think Boots Riley is right to speak about foreign distributors not supporting his movie. It's amazing that they would not, considering how strong it's done in the specialty box office here in the States. But my second choice, Chris McKay. Now, the Lego Batman director is signed to do Nightwing, but according to my sources, that movie is dead. And even if you want to stay positive with that and look at it like like the glass half full, it's a long ways off. That movie is not going to happen anytime soon. So why not lure him to Marvel with a guaranteed gig that's happening right now? And the Lego Batman movie had some truly hysterical moments. I also think that Upgrade's Lee Whannell should be considered. James Wan is discovering a lot of talent behind the camera through his horror work, and his original collaborator on Saw is still up for grabs, also Insidious. Now, Upgrade, which just came out on streaming, so if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's absolutely brilliant. And Whannell proved there that he can not only write, so he's a writer, that will help as well, if they need to do any tweaks to James Gunn's script, but he's a very talented director. And what he was able to do with just a $5 million budget on that movie, which is also takes place, Guardians of the Galaxy takes place in space, Upgrade takes place in the near future, but he did all of that for just $5 million. Imagine what he could do with Marvel money. Then finally, I would also consider Kay Cannon. Now, Blockers wasn't as good as the trailers, but it also certainly had its moments. And the industry and the media went nuts for Cannon at South by Southwest, where she debuted Blockers. She would be, I think, a very good choice, and it would be refreshing to hire a female director for a non-female-led movie. Hurry, Marvel! With Star Trek IV's multiple delays, you could beat them to theaters because they have, of course, hired a female director as well. So, would any of these directors make you feel better about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? And what do you think Dave Batista should do? And what do you think about keeping Gunn's script? Share your thoughts down below, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.